People are not going to be happy about this video, are they? Something I've struggled with a lot is being critical on a game that is generally well received. I find the points I often make don't fully convey why a particular game doesn't sit with me right. And additionally, I'm a person. I find it difficult to go against the grain and publicly disagree with a popular opinion. Being the person in this meme isn't actually fun for me. I'm no provocateur, and unlike some people who seemingly go out of their way to be contrarian, I don't like being outside of a group and advertising the fact that I disagree with you. It's an isolating, antisocial behavior that I don't enjoy engaging in. That all being said though, I also use this channel to broadcast my actual opinions, even if it means saying I in fact did not like the game that you all like, even if it might just be the most glazed game of all time that's not The Legend of Zelda with a subtitle blank of the blank. That's why I'm excited to tell you my opinion about this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow. Now I kind of showed my whole ass with the title and thumbnail. You know what game I'm talking about, and already many of you are probably uninterested in hearing what I have to say, but I humbly request you hold your judgment for a moment and hear me out. I just don't like Bloodborne. I said it insists upon itself. I've tried to play through Bloodborne about 4 or 5 times now by this point, and every time I end up giving up and abandoning the run. And to get ahead of the get good comments, I like challenge in my games. I've platinum trophied most of the other Soulsborne games. The only ones missing are Demon Souls and Bloodborne. I want to put it out there, I don't think difficulty options would improve the game at all. If anything, I'm a strong believer the Soulsborne games are best without difficulty options, providing a single intended experience to all players. The Soulsborne games are known for their meticulous difficulty curve. Well, most of them. See my Shadow of the Erdtree video for those complaints. While yes, generally I think accessibility options in games are a good thing that allow them to be experienced by a wider audience, difficulty options, specifically in this series of games, hurt the end product in the end. At least I think. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments. I said I cheated to finish the game, and you probably want to know what I mean by that. I didn't install any mods or exploit any glitches or anything like that. Instead, I used the infamous Chalice Dungeon. For anyone who doesn't know, first in Bloodborne you can access things called Chalice Dungeons. These are typically randomly generated dungeons for you to run through, and it serves as a way to spice up your gameplay. Maybe you use them for practicing a new weapon, or for farming blood echoes when you're low on a limited supply of blood vials in this game. Who in God's name decided that? Sorry, getting ahead of myself. The Chalice Dungeons also serve as a way to extend your playtime with the game by creating new content for you to enjoy. They're rarely anywhere near as good as the areas that were actually designed by the developers, but it'll do in a pinch. Players can also share Chalice Dungeons amongst each other using codes, and this is where the Chalice Dungeon, which for now I'm just going to call the Cum Dungeon, comes into play. Get it? The Cum Dungeon is a Chalice Dungeon commonly used in the community to farm a large number of blood echoes. An enemy is placed in the way of a trap, and upon loading in, walking a few steps and waiting a few seconds, you're awarded about 85,000 blood echoes, all in about 20 seconds. You can reload the area and go again and again, getting a ridiculous number in a short period of time. At this point of the game, I was slightly underleveled for the bosses. Like, there was a few times that I'd built up a huge stash of blood echoes only to die in frankly kind of bullshit ways, and then when I tried to recover them, even more bullshit. I digress. The other things that made me decide to use the Cum Dungeon was that I kept running out of blood vials. Farming them took forever, so I was going into a lot of bosses with like 1, sometimes 2. I just couldn't do it anymore. I don't think I was even up to a boss that was giving me trouble or anything. I think I was just exploring around Cathedral Ward, and no matter where I went, I got my ass handed to me. Out of desperation, I decided to quench my thirst and went guzzling in the Cum Dungeon. I did go a little overboard. I ended up about 20 to 25 levels higher than the recommended level for areas, but to be fair, it's still not exactly an instant win button. Sure, it made things significantly easier, but I don't think I made the game trivial by getting to that point, probably. The other main thing I used the Cum Dungeon for was for maxing out on blood vials, and max out I did. This one change made the game substantially more enjoyable. No more farming for blood vials, instead you just load in with 20 every time. Sure, in the early-ish game, 20 blood vials is a lot. Really, it should have been like the Estus flasks, I think, and the charges went up throughout the game as you unlocked them, providing you more healing when you get to harder bosses. But none of that really matters anyway, because I've just fundamentally changed the way that the game works. Sure, you could in theory do the same thing by farming low-level areas for hours, but I did it quickly with the Cum Dungeon. I cheated, not just the game, but myself. I didn't grow, I didn't improve, I took a shortcut and gained nothing. Ultimately, my victory was shallow, nothing was risked, and nothing was gained. After all my talk of enjoying the difficulty of the Soulsborne series and how much you have to persevere to not only beat the game, but to go back and platinum trophy it, it's kinda sad that this one cracked me, the most praised game in the entire Soulsborne series. It's for this reason I thought it was unfair to aim for the platinum trophy. With the ability to overlevel any boss I want, where is the achievement in taking on all the optional ones? What experience would I actually get out of it? It would be, as I said, a hollow victory, tarnish the entire series of trophies that I earned before that. I cheated, so I could finish the game and remove it from my backlog with minimal guilt, not so I could pretend I conquered it and brag about an ill-earned platinum trophy. For a similar reason, when I got to the end of the game and got to essentially choose my ending, I chose to submit to German in the Hunter's Dream and awaken anew. I didn't earn the right to challenge myself with the other endings or take on the optional final bosses. I don't get to brag about what I never had to earn. I probably wouldn't have cheated the game this way though if I was actually enjoying myself, but I found that so much of the game just doesn't click with me. Like, I'll give you an example. You can't rest at lampposts. They act as bonfires in this game, similar to Dark Souls. They facilitate fast travel and they're also respawn points for you if you die. Unlike Dark Souls, however, you can't run up to one of these and just rest at it to restore your HP and reset the world. It gets really annoying. Instead, you have to go to the lamp and fast travel to the Hunter's Dream and then from there travel back to the lamp. It's 2 loading screens to do what in Dark Souls is just 1 button press. I don't know, I just don't like it, and I don't think I understand what led to that design decision. Speaking of the Hunter's Dream though, it's so easy to get lost and not know where you're going. The names of the locations alone don't really tell you a lot about where it is. Do I need to go to Grand Cathedral or Cathedral Ward or Upper Cathedral Ward? Without like a snapshot of the location or something, it's so easy for these names to blur together and eventually mean nothing unless you take the time to learn where they actually are. I found it hard to want to do that though, given how tiring the Lovecraftian setting gets by the end. Yeah, I do think the fantasy theming of Dark Souls is stronger than the eldritch theming of Bloodborne. Yeah, I'm a basic bitch. What of it? Not just the setting that gets exhausting either. These large labyrinthian areas are overwhelming by the end and are a bit of a slog, especially when you end up running around in circles by mistake since every direction looks the same. There's only so far that Gothic gets you before it all just kind of looks identical. And while I'm at it, the fact that I was even able to cheat into getting those blood echoes is a problem too. Sure, they're optional, but their inclusion interferes with the level curve and intended experience of the game. The fact that I could load up one from online and get 80k in echoes without trying is a problem too. Even if I'm the one who searched it out and intentionally farmed from it, I still don't like that the game let me. Okay, breathe. I'm calm. I swear. Now that I've said all that and got it all off my chest, I'm good. Sure, I didn't click with the game. I was a little cranky because everyone hypes the game up so much and I just don't see what everyone likes so much about it. A lot of my complaints are, well, actually, almost all of my complaints are entirely about things that are conscious design decisions. And these are some of the things that people praise about the game so much. The scarcity of blood vials add tension to exploring areas, and one of the best ways to get them back is to pick them up from enemies that drop them. Combine that with the rally mechanic that allows you to partially heal damage taken for a short time after you've been hit, means the game really incentivizes this fast-paced combat and quick thinking. The whole point is to be aggressive. Be aggressive. I get that, and I truly do understand the appeal now that I've reflected a bit. I still don't like it, but that's me. I'm sure many people out there love the Gothic setting, the Lovecraftian horror, the insight mechanic and how it changes the world around you, the many challenging bosses with unique mechanics, the gun parry system and how it further incentivizes the quick thinking, aggressive combat that I just talked about. My complaints on this game are subjective, and subjectively, many of the things I don't like is part of the whole appeal and the whole reason people like the game in the first place. I think the takeaway is that it's okay for things to not live up to your personal hype. Just because something is well liked doesn't mean that it not clicking with you is a failure of either the piece of media or you, the consumer. At least for me, something being overly agreeable and refusing to alienate anyone makes it incredibly uninteresting. The fact that not everyone is going to resonate with everything is what I love most about art, as well as video games as an art form. Bloodborne is a great game, specifically because it's unafraid to alienate a player like me. The fact that it doesn't mesh with me is exactly the reason that for people that it does mesh with, it meshes a lot, like fully meshed, chainmail levels of mesh. Bloodborne, for the longest time, was the one game in the Soulsborne series that eluded me. Then, after repeated attempts, I never found it engaging enough to finish. Everything about it clashed with me, and I could never get fully engaged with the game. Though not the intended way, I can say I finally finished Bloodborne, though I wouldn't say I beat it. I feel that that's an unearned accolade to grant myself. Will I platinum Bloodborne so I can say I did the whole series? Honestly, probably not. Here's the thing, I know how much having an incomplete collection can nag at you. Is the effort I made to platinum the other From Software titles now just null and void because I'll never be able to claim the prestige of platinuming all the games in the Soulsborne series? Of course not. I had fun with these games. These are still achievements I'm proud of. Finishing the collection isn't going to grant me some kind of enlightenment and suddenly make me content for all time. People don't work that way. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Achieving a goal doesn't permanently make one happy. Happiness as a state is fleeting and we'll all return to our baseline on the hedonic treadmill. Instead, one should aim to find purpose, to set goals, have things that you're striving towards, but also don't be afraid to change these goals when necessary. Whoa, way too much philosophy and psychology talk there at the end. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe, you know the drill. Will I ever return to Bloodborne? I mean, maybe. I'm not going to rule the game off forever, but at the moment, there's no plans to. I spent a lot of hours playing this game, way more than what the howlongtobeat.com estimate said. So looking to smash out something shorter on the backlog next, I think. Maybe the Pedestrian fits the bill. Keep an eye out for a video for that when it comes out, and have yourselves a good one.